Boy, this next one is something else here. From various unknown parts of Houston, very unknown parts of Houston, come the freshest MCs ever seen on any stage. And I'm going to call these people out one at a time by their pseudonyms. They're afraid to have their real names known, apparently. Ladies and gentlemen, Kid Krash, Kid Nice, Keithie Fresh, Chili B, and Beatmaster. They are all together called the New Mixed Breed Rap Band. Welcome these high school youngsters as they present an original rap for us tonight, simply called the E.S.U. Rap. Right on.
It all started in 1985 during hip-hop's golden age, when dynamic groups like Run DMC, Mantronix, along with influential MCs like LL Cool J ruled the rap scene. In Houston, there was an emerging rap scene. They included several male and female MCs that were all building a foundation of future rap artists to come. This is the story of the New Mixed Breed, the co-innovators of rap, a rap group consisting of 5 friends who would change the Houston rap scene by expanding its core audience. It started back in 1984 when Keith B. Jones, also known as Kid Krash, and his friend Mark Brown, also known as MC Sire, formed MC's Finest while both attended Scarborough High School. They decided to mimic the sound of Run DMC. Keith with his high energy and vocals would mimic the style of Ron, while Mark would mimic the laid-back sound of DMC. After a year of writing and practicing their performance, MC's Finest was ready to hit the stage. But they had one big problem. No one had ever performed rap on stage at their high school.
Mark and I actually had a really good friendship because we worked well together. We wrote all the songs together. It was a good collaboration. The really big problem that we had was the fact that we couldn't perform our songs because rap was so new. People didn't know what it was. By us going to a predominantly white high school, rap was just not really discussed at all. So it was almost like people would ask, what is rap music? So we ran into this resistance where we couldn't get on stage because not all the teachers that were there, even the African American teachers, they were not necessarily on board with it because they didn't really know anything about rap. So Mark and I really had to sit out the first year because we really were not allowed to perform any of the material that we had. So we had to sit on the sideline and just kind of see what other people were doing and then prepare ourselves for when the day came that we could perform, that we were ready to do it.
The 2 MCs stayed hard at work, writing rhymes every day. And then in 1985, they finally got their opportunity to rap on stage.
Mark and I finally got our opportunity to rap on stage at a Black History program one night. One of the teachers who was over the program was fighting for us to be on that stage, and we didn't want to disappoint her, so they let us perform that night for the parents, not during the day, because no one would really show up at night. So they figured it would be a little safer to do that in the evening time, when people didn't really show up as much, as opposed to during the day when all the students were going to be there. It was a big concern about, believe it or not, the kids going crazy and rioting and all this stuff. It was a real big, blown out of proportion problem that the school administrators had at the time. But again, rap was new, so they didn't know what to expect. My argument was that, you have that with anything, rock and roll and so forth. I mean, people can get out of hand, but they really put that on us. So all we could do was perform that night for the parents. And, we just didn't want to let her down because she worked really hard to get us on that stage, and we appreciated everything that she did.
Keith and Mark took the stage, but weren't allowed to move around. They had to stay in one spot and rap, which took the energy out of the performance.
For the most part, when we started performing, the audience, they just sat there trying to figure out what we were doing. We were rapping, but it looked really silly when I think about it because we had to sit on a table and rap about Black history, and it just looked crazy. although we didn't have a good performance that night, it really didn't matter. At the end of the day, we were on the stage, and we knew that once they let us on, that there was no way they could refuse us coming back. So we just knew it opened up the doors for us, and we knew that although this time we didn't have a good show, the next show we weren't going to let them down. We were going to really put everything we had into it, because we were going to push to not have to be in one spot, to have more than one microphone, and to be able to set up the way we want to set up so we can take the performance to the next level.
The victory was short-lived due to Mark getting transferred to another school. This in effect broke up the dynamic duo, and Keith was left to go solo or start another group.
Since Mark got transferred, I decided to form a new group. By this time, I was becoming more popular at school, and I wanted to leverage that popularity by creating a better group that could go further than MC's Finest. So I wanted to create a group that had its own unique sound, that wasn't trying to be like anybody else, kind of like what MC's Finest had done. I wanted the group to be able to incorporate all genres of music into their sound. So I needed for them to be able to do rock, jazz, R&B. It didn't matter. I wanted all of that sound to be reflected in what we were doing, because MC's Finest, it was a simple rap group is what it was, and I wanted the new group to catch everybody's attention, because we wanted them to have their own style, their own sound. And so what I did was I created my own label, which was NMB Records, and then I went to work trying to find the people that were going to be in this group and see if they matched what I was looking for.
Keith reached out to a neighborhood friend, Leon McCutcheon, and told him what he planned on doing, and Leon was all in.
Leon and I had been friends for a while, so I initially went to him, let him know I was forming a new group and I wanted him in it, and he was all in from the start. He liked the concept and everything. We only had one problem, which was that I needed for him to be the guy who did the beatboxing, and he really didn't know how to beatbox. So I told him, I said, well, Leon, if you do this, you're gonna have all the ladies, and that pretty much put him on board. I mean, he figured it out that, okay, I'm gonna have all the girls, I'm in.
To his surprise, Keith was approached by another friend who wanted to be in the group, but didn't look the part at all.
I got approached by another friend of mine that I went to high school with and also was in Little League with, Keith Horton. He wanted to be a rapper, and I was like, I don't know any white rappers in Houston, and I thought it'd be cool if he could pull it off. I didn't want it to be too gimmicky, although I knew people would take it that way due to him being white. But if he could rap, everyone's mind would be blown away. So I invited him on board. I told him, I said, we got to work hard at it. I got to get you where you want to be so that you're good enough to be on this stage with us. And so he was cool. He worked very hard at rapping because I think he didn't want to look bad, number one. And I think that he wanted to do it because he wanted to be the best at what he was doing. He was fully committed to being the best rapper in the city. That was his goal, I think.
In 1986, the school was putting on a Gong Show, and Keith decided that this would be the real test to see if his new formed group, the New Mixed Breed, was ready for prime time.
Leon, Keith, and I entered the Gong Show with the idea that this would be the time to show everyone what we have been working so hard on, because it was a little bit of a mystery. People didn't know what was going on with the group, anything like that. So this was a good time to show them. So it wasn't really no concern about trying to win it or anything like that. I mean, we didn't want to get gonged, but certainly, all we wanted to do was be on that stage, show them what we were doing, and to my surprise, the response was absolutely phenomenal.
After the Gong Show performance, everyone at school started talking about the new mixed breed. Keith was determined to capitalize on the group's newfound popularity by adding new members to the group.
When Keith, Leon, and I did the Gong Show, the group blew up in part because we had a white rapper, and everyone was shocked that Keith Horton could rap so well. The white kids at school were I think in total shock that he did it. And trust me, I think Keith loved all the attention, and so did Leon. So I, on the other hand, didn't really have time to enjoy any of it because I wanted people to, like our sound and our lyrics and not the gimmicky stuff. I enlisted another friend of mine, Billy Washington. Billy was the best rapper I had heard to that point. His vocal delivery was like a machine gun going off. I mean, he was really that good. He was like the precursor to what would be like a Bone Thugs and Harmony, but really more like a Schoolie D, maybe like an Ice-T kind of rapper. But this guy was really, really good. And believe it or not, Billy was actually a member of the first group that I had, MC's Finest, with Mark. But we never got a chance to rap together because the group broke up. I wasn't sure if he would be interested in New Mixed Breed because the group was so commercial, because we had a white rapper in the group. And it surprised me that he told me, he said, man, look, I'm on board. Whatever you want to do, I'm down. So that made me very happy to have him on board. I met Val Price in journalism class one day. So he and we shared the same class. He was sitting by himself like he normally does, and I approached him. I asked him what was he doing because he was so quiet, and he was always writing something. He told me that he was writing a rap. So I asked him to recite the rap. And at first he was afraid, but I kind of talked him into doing it. And he said the rhyme. He said something about being a intergalactic Robin Hood. And I said, okay, this guy's in my group. I mean, he was creative, man. And so Val, who was also white, he had to prove himself with the rap fans too. So he really had to go the same route that Keith did in terms of really working hard at it and all that. So I paired him with Billy so that Billy could teach Val how to write, teach Val how to rap a little bit better than what he had, because Val was good at what he did. But I knew if I paired him with Billy, he would be that much better, and that would free me up so I could do the other things I need to do on the business side.
Now that all 5 members were together, Keith went to writing rhymes for them to match what he felt that he could market to the public.
Marketing is key to any product. And even at the age of 16, I understood that. So I wanted each member of the group to be marketed separately to build that particular fan base. Keith Horton became Keithie Fresh. He was patterned after the popular rapper Dougie Fresh. He was marketed as the high energy rapper and the loudest of all the members. Leon McCutcheon became Beatmaster E. He was marketed as the ladies' man and the coolest guy of the group. Billy Washington became Chili B. He was marketed as a more hood rapper. His lyrics would be colder and darker than everyone else's. Val Price became Kid Nice. He was marketed as the shy but lyrical genius of the group. I marketed myself as the brains of the group. I am the architect and the mastermind behind the scenes making things happen. By doing this, it created no competition between members because everyone had a role, and it made people more attracted to the individual rather than just looking at everyone as a group.
There was one final person who would help the new mixed breed, and that was the DJ, Tack Taylor. Tack's parents allowed the guys to rehearse at their home. Tack has his equipment set up in his bedroom, and the guys would come in and rehearse their rhymes while he mixed and scratched records.
Most of the time when we rehearsed, it was at our DJ's house, DJ Tack Taylor. So Tack was the neighborhood DJ, very, very talented guy. and his parents were kind enough to let us come into the home, and we rehearsed in his bedroom. So he'd have everything hooked up, and he'd start spinning records, and then he'd hand somebody the microphone, and we would just start rapping.
Of the new mixed breed, featuring the MC's finest, and I'm Kid Krash, and he's Keithie Fresh, and he's Kid Nice, along with Beatmaster and Tax. We are the best. Cut it up, Tax.
I know I'm cool, I know I'm deaf. My name is Keith Horton, I know I'm the best. I know I'm cute as can be. When I rap on the MIC, devastating, correlating, moving and grooving. If I was John Wayne, I'd still be shooting. I can feel the bass bumping in my car. It basses all night, cause it travels real far. The bass is here, and it's very mean. The girls all act like they've never seen a rapper like me. Yes, I'm white, but I never, ever had to bite.
Oh, me and Wells and Makoto J, jamming on the mic on the trail to L.A. And I shot that fool and I got my gold. The kid is cruel like ice is cold. There was 15 men with an order to kill, and I fight real dirty and I always will. Jamming and slamming, I'm doing time. And city to city, I'm rocking my rhymes.
Now, Kid Krash on the mic, producer of rhymes. Rapping on the mic, I'm just taking my time. I am the king, and yo, I prevail. You get cash up front, and I get mine in the mail. I say I get a big fat check, yes I do. And I'm rocking on the mic, I'm just doing the do. Because I'm the king, and not the queen. I'm rocking on the mic, I'm just doing my thing, Beatmaster.
Well, I'm Beatmaster E in the place to be. I don't need an introduction, everyone know me. I got fresh rhymes that you can't repeat. Suck it if I battle, others I delete. One rhyme is not enough, you got to hear it because my beats and my lyrics are so precise.
Rapping on the microphone is what he do. He is the beat master with the freshest crew. He's the king at the beats, and we're the prince at rhymes, and we're truly elite. I said, I'm Kid Krash, yo, once again. Right. Rocking on the mic, measure tenderness I send. Rock beat master, rocking in your face, because suckers don't like me. I leave a trace of blood, a trace of rhymes. I'm rapping on the mic, so give me mine. Rappers don't like me, and this is true, because I get on the mic, I just do the do. I can rap all day and rap all night. All those suckers, they present to blight.
You know that was death, man.
Funky Fresh, man.
You know how it is,
Was
man.
it live?
It was live.
All right.
Can I cut it up one time?
Do it one time. I bust a beat for me. Hold on, but first tell me, what's your name?
As time went on, more and more kids who typically didn't listen to rap began listening to New Mixed Breed. The performance at school was getting better and better, and the audience was getting bigger. Then in 1987, Keith befriended a retired country musician named Ray Doggett.
I met Ray Doggett, who had been a country music musician and producer for many years, being successful at that. But I met him, and he was still in the business. He just wasn't performing anymore. In fact, Ray actually produced the country singer Kenny Rogers. He produced his very first album back in like 1958 or something like that. But he took a real interest in New Mixed Breed. And so he and I would talk a lot about the direction of the band and what I wanted to accomplish with them. He decided that he wanted to book shows for us, which was great. Now, we were performing at country and western clubs that obviously didn't know anything about rap music. But by the time we were done with our set at the club, they were begging us to come back because the crowd absolutely went crazy.
One of the live performances that New Mixed Breed did was the show held at Fitzgerald's in Houston, Texas. Fitzgerald's has some of the biggest acts, such as Etta James, ZZ Top, James Brown, REM, and Tina Turner. New Mixed Breed was brought in to provide the crowd with a heavy dose of hip-hop.
Boy, this next one is something else here. From various unknown parts of Houston, very unknown parts of Houston, come the freshest MCs ever seen on any stage. And I'm going to call these people out one at a time by their pseudonyms. They're afraid to have their real names known, apparently. Ladies and gentlemen, Kid Krash, Kid Nice, Keithie Fresh, Chili B, and Beatmaster. They are all together called the New Mixed Breed Rap Band. Welcome these high school youngsters as they present an original rap for us tonight, simply called the E.S.U. Rap. Right off.
Grab the ball. Ready to go? Now you're rapping.
Hello.
1, 2, 1, 2.
I'm the instant bonus for the chill beat is back. I feel so cold for leaving you all alone without the sound of my feet, without the one of the tone, cause I'm back. I wasn't here like it. The music man, but you want to leave with Satan with it. Never retreat on freedom, I just relinquish and beat him. And then I drag him and nag him and slap a rebel cheek. And then I take him and break him to adversaries to whack. My apple with you will rhyme from all the Kodak bear. I'm back at the head of the race. The fucking horn of a boy at the pick of the pace. My name is Keithie Fresh, and I know I'm the best. I know I'm cute, can't be. When I rap on the MIC, still sitting correlate, moving and grooving. If I was John Wayne, I still be true. I can feel the bass bumping in my car. It basses all night, cause it travels real far. The bass is here, and it's very mean. The girls all act like they never seen a rapper like me. Yes, I'm white, but I never, ever had to bite. I know I got it, that's all right. That's my golden rule, and I use the microphone as my main tool. I get on stage, and I will the tour. I put the young ladies inside of the day. Grab it, please. It's on me, man. It's on you. We're gonna do it for E.S.U. one time. One time, take the line. All right, here we go. Entertainment success unlimited. Yo, that's what I chose instead. Instead of other rappers who were not with. Come on, everybody, let's go and admit it. That Ray Dog is the death like cheap, and he will always get deaf, so just don't go beat. And if I get down, that's what I do. My mystery crew says E.S.U, and then it's E.S.U. I get deaf, dog. E.S.U. With E.S.U. E.S.U. That's what we do best. E.S.U. One more time, dog. E.S.U. I'll bust it off. E.S.U. All right, now we'll bust it all down. That's what we do. That's why we call ourselves the New Mixed Breed Crew. Now I'm Kid Krash, as I was presented. Chili B, Kid Nice, Beatmaster was weird. Keithie Fresh is my homeboy in camp, and I will all get jumped for all the flying gals. When I get jumped, that's what I do. So come on one time and say E.S.U. Let's do it. E.S.U. I get deaf, y'all. E.S.U. One time, y'all. E.S.U. I do it up, y'all. E.S.U. That's what we do best.
As the group continued to get bigger and better, more opportunities availed themselves to the group. One was a meeting that they had with Don Daly, the founder partner of Cactus Records, which at the time was the largest record chains in the United States. Don was interested in getting into the rap music, and he offered to distribute New Mixed Breeds records in all of his Cactus record stores and publish their songs through his publishing company, Glad Music BMI.
Don Daly was hands down one of the nicest, most honest, and professional guys I met in the business. His family owned the Cactus record stores, and they owned Glad Music BMI, which is a publishing company. They owned their own distribution company and all that, and they distributed records. I mean, it was country and western mostly as far as what they were doing on the publishing side. So acts like Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, those were a few people. I think even some of the earlier George Strait albums actually were published by them. So they were heavily in the country. They were interested in New Mixed Breeds, so which was great. All of our contacts were mostly from country and western music because there was nobody in Houston that was really doing anything on the hip hop side that we could refer to. So Don was one of those guys that really explained the business to me, told me how everything worked. He was a guy I wanted to work with, so I decided to sign a distribution deal with him to have all of our records put into all the Cactus record stores and the other stores, but we were focusing on Cactus Records because that's what he owned, and have his publishing company to publish our record so that way, you know, we could have it out. Now, the problem that we had was that I didn't have the money to do a full-blown album. So that was an issue. And Don wanted us to deliver an album. So I told Don, I said, well, Don, I don't have the money to do an album. And so he just kind of laughed. He said, well, yeah, you got to get the money to do it. So what I decided to do, because I didn't know if people were going to really buy the record, I didn't know if the group was at that level yet. So what I decided to do was to use the school newspaper, because I was in the class, Val and I decided to write an article about the group doing a record. And the response was phenomenal. Everybody was asking about the record and everything. So I knew we'd sell records. So I didn't have all the money, but I figured I would get the record together, at least the money together to at least do 2 songs. And then that way we could put those out and the kids could buy it, and then, you know, we could start from there. So it was a really big deal to do that with Don and with everybody that we worked with. It was huge accomplishment that they would take us on, even though they didn't know a lot about what we were doing, that they wanted to pick up the record, distribute the record, and put it out there and see if people bought it. So it was a huge deal for us.
Originally, Keith planned on the group recording 2 songs, We Come to Rock It and Loris a Bass. Although they recorded demos of each song, he found out that the songs would be too expensive to record in the studio, and money was in short supply. He wrote 2 other songs that could be recorded and that had the futuristic sounds that he was looking for. This is Treble, We Lied, and Survivor Dance.
When I wrote This Is Trouble, I wanted to have a song that was upbeat, that was up-tempo, and I wanted to be full of bass because that's what everybody was going more to, was that heavy bass. And so I wrote it so that the bass would catch everyone off guard. And when it hit, that it hit hard. And I wanted people to, you know, to hear a totally different sound that was coming out of Houston, and just for the industry all the way around. And I think that This Is Trouble really was a good approach to that.
This is trouble. We lie. You know this damn is trouble. Look, you get it right. It's making so hard. It's slamming you and well, the beat is making everlastingly. And we are making it down. No, mix free. Well, this type of bass is a liar, no face. You can't turn down your static, cause you know it's too late. Keithie Fresh never lied, but I lied today. If it's I get out the kitchen before I start to dismay. Beat master with the goodies on my dot. The bass is bumping, but it hits the spot. We're bassing hard, way beyond levels. We're adding in
Survivor Dance was the next song to be recorded with this song. Keith paid homage to one of his musical heroes, Morris Day of the funk band The Time.
When I wrote Survival Dance, I wanted to write something that was a lot slower. I wanted it to be full of bass again and something that people could play in their cars and have people ask who's that they're listening to. I also took the opportunity to quote one of my favorite artists, Morris Day of Morris Day and The Time. He had a song out called Oak Tree, and I really liked the song a lot, so I wrote the hook to that song using some of what he said in his song, and it was funny to me that I could get away with it and not get sued.
with intensity, and when it burns, you will learn
2.
Phase 2. New mix breed.
The New Mix Breed released their debut single, and the kids went crazy buying their records.
It took everything in me to record that album, and the guys too. I mean, it was a lot of rehearsing, a lot of work, and to get the album done on time. I mean, I spent a lot of money, a lot of time, and it was just nice to see people buying the record when it finally came out. In fact, the guys and I drove to Cactus Records in Sharpstown Mall to see if the record was there and if it was on the shelf and if people were buying it. And it, it totally blew me away because we didn't really get any radio play or anything like that. But all the marketing that we did, all the street marketing paid off because people were buying the record, they knew about the record. And to me, that made the whole journey worth the while, just to see that what we created, people were actually enjoying it enough to buy it and want to own it. I think that our impact and game changer was that we made rap music more accessible to a non-black audience and made them hip-hop fans for life. At the time, very few artists could do what we did. I think that is part of the reason why, in some ways, we're still relevant today. People still remember New Mix Breed because it inspired a lot of people to pursue their own musical dreams. I mean, think about it. You have 5 kids who basically did something that was nearly impossible using an art form that wasn't fully appreciated or respected at that time. And let me be clear, there would be no P Square P in Acres Home if it weren't for New Mix Breed. All of what you saw in Acres Home, as far as rap-wise in the 90s, was an offshoot of the New Mix Breed. And New Mix Breed basically laid the foundation for all the rap sound that came out, because prior to New Mix Breed, hip-hop in Acres Home didn't even have a sound. So what people did was they took bits and pieces of what we did, the parts that they liked, and they took it and they made it their own. And they create their own styles, their own, and influence other people off of those styles. But none of that would have happened if it was not for New Mix Breed. That's how important New Mix Breed, that's how innovative we were. So even though our sound was completely different than everybody, the bottom line was that people could take bits and pieces of that, infuse music, and make their own. So it wasn't just street, it wasn't just jazz, it wasn't just rock, it wasn't just R&B. It was all those things amalgamized into one thing, and people could take bits and pieces of that and make it into their own. And that's why New Mix Breed was relevant, and that's why New Mix Breed was innovative.
So there you have it. That is the story and impact of the New Mix Breed, the co-innovators to rap. 5 friends who changed the rap game in Houston: Kid Krash, Beatmaster E, Keithie Fresh, Kid Nice, and Chili B. The first integrated hip-hop group in Houston, who not only defied the odds and recorded a record, but did it without using profanity, degrading women, and without using the N-word. New Mix Breed, the co-innovators of rap, Houston Northside hip-hop icons forever.
Tell me straight, man. How much money I'm gonna see when this heifer die?
My name is Nicky, I like to rhyme, I like to eat all the time. Eat so much, my skin slips out. Now what the hell is that all about? I like pizza and I like steak. I'll even eat dog if that's what's right. I eat cat and I eat mouse. Just kill a day with a baseball bat. It's getting crazy, it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy, it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. I like to rock and I like to rhyme, but I like to focus time. I sit those two outside on the porch, eating bugs and lighting a torch. What wanna do to the tip to the top? Just take it from here and smell my sock. Smell like liver, pizza, cheese, the loose skin lettuce is full of fleas.